Hi, Dr. Joe McGinley. This is episode 2 of our podcast of the McGinley Difference. We're here in Casper, Wyoming at the M Building, and we have a special guest with us today. We have Hunter Yoder, Pro 250 Supercross racer for ClubMX number 60, coming back off an incredible race this weekend out in Anaheim 1. He's out here with us in Casper, Wyoming. We're going to chat a little bit. Unfortunately, you can all guess if Hunter's out here. He's not out here just to do a tour of Casper. He's got something going on, and we're going to take good care of him. But it's great to have you all here today. Hunter, welcome to Casper. Welcome to the M Building. Let me just start out. Did you ever think you'd end up in Wyoming for medical care?
No, I did not.
Okay.
That was the last thing I thought of.
Well, I'm glad we're able to change that and get you out here. But let's take a step back. Let's talk a little bit about yourself. If you can give the fans a little bit of your racing history, where you're at now, where you've come up, and a little bit about your riding.
Yeah, I've been racing since I was 5 years old, 6 years old. Obviously, did the whole amateur deal, rode for Geico Honda until they unfortunately shut down. That kind of left me at some crossroads, and I was kind of figuring it out for a little bit, doing like my own thing, and then riding for some smaller teams. And then I actually thought about quitting racing entirely at one point. And I kind of gave it one last shot. And, I had a team pick me up, and I rode for them for 3 years, after thinking about giving it up. So that was an awesome run for me, and that really kind of brought me back into the game, I guess. And then, this year I got the offer from ClubMX to ride for them, and I couldn't turn it down. That was honestly like a dream for me. I went and toured the facility, and obviously you were out there a couple weeks ago. When you go there and drive through the gates, it's like motocross paradise. And for me as an athlete, everything being on site there, I live there on site. I have to drive, 30 seconds to the gym and 30 seconds to the shop. It makes everything so easy. So when I went and toured it, it was something I couldn't turn down, and seeing the resources they had, and ultimately, at that time you weren't involved, but now having you involved, and, for something like what I got going on right now, having ClubMX in my corner and having you in my corner, it makes everything so much easier.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. How old are you?
I'm 21.
21, man. Sounds like you have a lifetime of experience at this point at age 21. Well, congrats for sticking it out and making it to ClubMX. We're going to be calling this mini-series, we're going to be doing a 3-part discussion with you and following you along. We're going to be calling it Club at the Clinic. So, we're going to talk about your injury. We're going to talk about some of your care, and then we're going to track your incredible results as we go along. I also just, partnered with ClubMX recently. I'm their chief medical officer now. We're going to be developing their health and wellness program. You're going to see a lot of new things there as far as with your training, monitoring your health, monitoring your performance. We're going to be working with Chad. We're going to be working with the strength coach. We're going to be working with Deb. We're going to be working with the whole team to really push you guys to that top elite level at every point along the way. And when you have injuries, we're going to do our best to get you back out there safely and as quick as possible, and make sure you're getting the latest technologies, the best technology. So I stumbled upon Club. I obviously knew about Club. I've been at the races many times. We have a privateer support team that we work with. But, Mike reached out, and I've seen him several times. We speak at the combine races, so I've known Mike. I've gotten to know him. He called me, and he wanted to talk about us working with Club. And, we were pretty busy and everything. I was like, well, I don't know if we have time for that. He's like, why don't you just come check it out? So I said, fine. I like Mike. I like the team. So I said, yeah, I'll take the effort to come out. So I came out and same thing. When I drove up, I was like, wow, this is impressive. You drive through those gates, and right away you see all of the facility. You see the multiple tracks. I think there's like, 10 tracks there? 10 motocross tracks?
So,
plus the GNCC track now too. And then all the buildings. So there's lots of people that live on site. I think they have like 100 full-time members maybe at Club in addition to the pro team. And then the facility, they're building that new health and wellness facility on site. And, you guys just have an incredible setup there. So I was impressed. I walked around, and then I met Brandon, the team owner. We were chatting a bit, and, we came up with this idea of pushing the wellness program and offering something that you guys really can't get with most other teams. with my involvement in the sport, I used to ride at an amateur level, so I know what you guys are going through to some degree. I don't, obviously have the same experience, but I knew we can make a difference and help you guys out. So that came about pretty quickly. I was just like maybe October, November,
Yeah.
and that's where I first met you. I'd met you before, and I met you when I was out there and met the rest of the team. And right away, we've been able to make an impact and difference. So it's been wonderful to have that partnership and relationship, and this is why it works. So, let's get into a little bit of why you're here. So training, let's first talk about your training leading up to Anaheim 1. I saw a lot of the videos. I heard a lot of the reports. There were a lot of high expectations for you this year. Quite a bit of anticipation of you getting out there on the track. So tell us what was going on. What were all these expectations about?
Yeah. Just when I started with Chad and Brandon, for boot camp, basically that was in November. I just had a really quick uprising from the level I was at last year.
And sorry to interrupt you. We're talking about the legendary Chad Reed, correct? Yeah. Let's just clarify that.
Yep. Chad Reed's in my corner, which has been awesome. And yeah, I just accelerated really quick, and everything was going well, and I felt really good on the bike. There was lots of rumors that I was riding pretty good from what I've heard. I kind of keep to myself when I'm at club. I just hang out with my guys that are there, and that's about it. So yeah, I went there and I put my head down and gave it my all every day, and the results showed, I think. Kind of to take a step back, like I went there on a 5-month tryout deal, and before I ever went and raced, they ended up giving me a contract extension, which was amazing. I mean, I never expected that from practice. That's not something you get before you go and race. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you didn't even have a set deal. So
No.
you were there, like the pressure was on. I mean, you had to perform, and I mean, at that time you thought your A1 results are going to make that determination, but
yeah,
you were doing so well, you got an offer ahead of time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm exactly what you said. Like, the upcoming races were going to be the deciding factor. And so when they gave me the contract extension, that was obviously a little bit of relief, but no, I didn't take my foot off the pedal. Just kept going. And yeah, I had a solid 2 months of boot camp, and it's Tuesday now. It's the Tuesday after A1, and last Tuesday I had a small tip over and did some damage to my knee, and kind of.
Let's say, so were you at club riding at the time? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was my last day of riding. I was doing a warm up. It was my 4th lap of the day, and I had 2 more sessions to go before I was going.
So this is just a warm up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, take me through the incident. What happened there?
Just a very routine crash. I went through a corner and I just lost the front end a little bit, and I had my leg out, unfortunately. Like, I was, 3/4 of the way through the corner when I lost the front end, and unfortunately just hit the ground with my leg out. It happened so quick, there was not much I could do. So
this is like the dreaded dabbing your leg out there
Yeah.
and getting it locked up in that turn. Which leg was this?
This is my left one.
Okay. And the fans may not know this, but you've had a previous injury and you've had some work done on that knee before. Let's give them some perspective. What did you have done on that, and when?
In March of 2024, Seattle Supercross, I had a crash. I pretty much grenaded my knee at that point. I tore my ACL, tore my meniscus. The MCL was torn a little bit. I had the cyst in the back of my knee that was pretty big, and I had a pretty good bone contusion, which put me in a lot of pain.
Yep.
And then, not having the resources like you at that time, I never got it checked. I just kept riding, and that was maybe halfway through the series, and I finished the series. But it was very poor performances when I was on the track, just because, I was in a lot of pain. When I would ride, it would put me in more pain. Like I said, there was nobody there checking it or getting it looked at.
Yep.
And so then in May of 2024, I had the ACL repaired, the meniscus repaired, and I believe they took the actually no, they left the MCL, but ACL meniscus repair. So
You had surgery on it in 24. Obviously, you recovered. You're back out riding. No real issues or other injuries until this happened. So you had that happening. What were you felt a pop, correct? I think you told me you felt a pop. What thoughts were running through your head when that happened?
Not any good thoughts, as you could imagine. Like, I had such a good couple months leading up to it. Like, and again, we're at this point 4 or 5 days out from the race.
Right.
Like, I'm expecting to go and crush it.
Yep.
Like, I've been feeling so good riding. And
What day did this happen?
Tuesday.
Yeah, so this is Tuesday before Anaheim won. This wasn't like weeks ago. This happened this week. Like, Tuesday right before Anaheim won.
Yeah, so basically on Tuesday afternoon, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to race. Obviously, didn't know the extent. Wednesday night, I got an MRI.
Well, hold on a second. You were flying then, so
When-
we gotta fill the fans in on the. I know the details. It's incredible what you had to go through here. So you got injured on Tuesday.
I got injured on Tuesday morning.
I got a text from Brandon Haas at Club telling me you got injured, and then I tried to reach out, but you're jumping on a flight Tuesday morning. Like you didn't get any imaging or anything at that point. You jumped on a flight. You were going out to California because you had a race coming up.
I had my flight booked. So my thought process was I'm either going to race or I'm going back home.
Yeah.
And it didn't really matter. Like, you know, whatever the outcome was with my knee, like either way, I needed to go back. Yep. And so
you got to California then, right?
Yeah, I got to California on Wednesday afternoon.
Yes.
MRI I drove straight from the airport to the MRI. I didn't get out of there until 8:45 or 9 o'clock at night. I went and I believe I went to the chiropractor right after that.
Yep.
And, you know, he's got like a game ready machine to, you know, flows the ice through there and
try to get rid of the inflammation because you had quite a bit of swelling.
Massive,
I mean, this was it's like a balloon.
Yeah, I couldn't bend my knee. I think we decided it was more than 20 degrees at that point.
So you're in pain, swelling. You're thinking there's no way I'm racing it.
Yeah, exactly. So Thursday morning, I got up. I went straight to the chiropractor. Shout out to Dr. Nick. He's taken good care of me pretty much my whole career.
Yep.
And he got me with basically everything to get rid of the inflammation, you know, and also the pain as well. And I was going to him for 4 to 6 hours a day, you know, just having him try to get rid of the inflammation and get some more mobility into it. And then, I talked to you on Thursday night.
Yeah, by then we got the images. So that was the other thing. You had to get the images for me to take a look at from that MRI.
Yeah.
We took a look at that, and, you know, good news was there was nothing that was completely trashed in there, but you had several significant injuries.
Yeah.
That graft was partially torn, high-grade partial tear of that graft. You had re-injured your menisci again. You had another bone contusion. Then you had a massive amount of fluid on there.
Yeah.
So again, at that point, when you see that MRI report and you're feeling the knee, you're thinking there's no way I'm racing Anaheim. This was on Thursday night.
Yeah, and I didn't have to ride on Friday, but I had press day that was optional for me.
Right.
But obviously, between the three of us, me, you, and Nick, decided that it was, and that was before you got me set up with a doctor. Right? Me and Nick kind of decided that I probably shouldn't ride, and then we had talked to you on the phone, and you said, definitely don't ride. And then you got me set up with Dr. Hamer in San Diego. And he got me set up with his partner because he wasn't in. So I left my house. Again, this is all after.
So here's how that happened in the background. So after I chatted with you, you said you were racing. So you're the rider. You make the decision on that. There was nothing critical where it was unsafe for you to ride or anything. As a physician, we're always going to be conservative and say, you know, don't ride because, you know, you have an injury. But this isn't something catastrophic like, you know, your lungs or something that where you could die. These are musculoskeletal orthopedic injuries. There was nothing that was completely torn. So, you know, we talked about the risks of riding, but you were set on riding. So at that point, our goal was to make it as safe as possible for you and try to take care of as much of the issue. So yeah, I called my colleague in San Diego. I chatted a little bit. He was unfortunately out of the office. I was trying to find someone to get that fluid off. You had a massive amount of fluid. I knew if we get the fluid off, you would at least have mobility and it would feel a lot better. But I wasn't there at the track. We had no one that could just do it for you. I called an urgent care. They said they wouldn't do it. So I ended up
You ran
calling
around for a while trying to find
multiple.
somebody for me.
It's not that easy, but I finally got contact with them and I said, listen, you have to trust me. This is what needs to be done. I saw the MRI. This is what I would do. And I've worked with Dr. Hamer multiple times.
Yeah.
So he trusts me. I trust him. So he called his partner and we were able to set that up. So this is like at 9 p.m. on Thursday. And we got you set up at like 7:30 a.m.
My knee was getting
the next
drained
day.
by 7:45 on Friday
Right.
morning.
Yeah, that's no simple task
No,
to pull that off.
Not at all.
You had to wake up early, so you
Yeah.
drove about an hour to San Diego
Yeah,
to get that done. We got the fluid off. How much fluid did they take off that knee?
50 cc's.
Yeah, 50 cc's, 50
Yeah.
milliliters of fluid was taken off that knee. And then we did a couple injections in there as well to
Yep.
help with the healing process and the anti-inflammatory process. And at that point we did all we could do. You saw Dr. Nick, they took care of the inflammatory stuff. We got the fluid off. We got the safe injections. These are not just pain meds to make it feel better. We're trying to heal and decrease the
Yeah.
inflammation. We talked about cortisone, but again, I was against that, and that's not what we did. Because number one, it wouldn't have worked so quickly. And number two, it would have caused more problems down the road. So we were able to do this without, the traditional cortisone injections to get you treated. So we got all the fluid off, got you injected. You go from San Diego, now you're driving to Anaheim, right? I mean, you're going
Yeah.
right to the track.
Yep.
I mean, what were
I
your,
went-
so
I
what
went
were
to
your
the-
thoughts after the injection?
I didn't really have any at that point. I was still I was telling people that I was going to race, but in the back of my mind, I was still questionable because I wasn't sure. I couldn't bend my knee at that point.
Right.
And that was something I dealt with on the previous injury to my knee a couple years ago. I could ride, but I couldn't sit down fully on the seat. And that's obviously an issue.
Yep.
And so I actually drove up to Anaheim to meet Dr. Nick at the stadium. That way he could do more work on me there.
Yep.
And, I basically had my mechanic hold me up and I tried to sit down and stand up because it was a tough task for me to try to sit down. And even on Friday, when Nick was done working on me, I was having a hard time.
Yeah.
And so going into Saturday, I didn't think much. On Friday night, I went back to Nick's straight from the stadium.
Yep.
He did another hour and a half of work on my knee. Just machines and him, pushing on it.
Trying to get that range of
Yeah.
motion, take care of the
Yeah.
inflammation.
And so kind of woke up on Saturday with no expectation and just went to the track. And
How did it feel Saturday morning when you woke up?
Saturday morning was a lot better
Yeah.
after he had worked on it. It was late when I went to Nick's on Friday night. So I pretty much went from there back to the house and went straight to sleep.
Gotcha.
And then, Saturday I woke up, went on track walk.
You were able to walk the track?
Yeah,
First test of the day.
walking was a lot easier. And that was the first morning that I had woke up with the injections and the fluid taken out of my knee. So that obviously added a big, big help to me.
You're probably a few pounds lighter.
Yeah. And so that made it feel a lot better. And then, I went Saturday pretty much just about my business. And the first 2 sessions of the day were a little bit rough. I was struggling. I think more mentally, my knee was definitely tight for sure. There's no doubt about that. I was having a hard time riding in the first session. Second session, it got a little bit better. But it was definitely, I would say, 65% more mental. I was trying not to put it down and, just being timid, obviously. I had
a lot happened in 3 days.
I had good
It's
reason
like,
to. So, there's no disregarding that. And then I went into the heat race and I kind of knew it was good at that point. And
So did everyone else watching.
at that point, I just let it hang. And I went out. I didn't get credited for the whole shot, but I was the first one through that section. led some laps in front of a massive crowd, and
Was that the first time leading laps in a heat race?
I led laps 3 years ago in Seattle.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been it's been a long time.
On Tuesday, you thought there's no chance I'm riding.
Tuesday,
Even Thursday, no chance of riding.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, you're leading laps in the heat race against, all the top I mean, this is Anaheim 1. Everyone's ready to go. I mean, there's no depleted field or anything like that. The weather was great, so perfect track conditions. So you're getting the best of the best at their best, and you're out there leading the race.
Yeah. Like you said, on Tuesday, and luckily now we have the ClubMX videos that are showing a little more in depth to what we got going on, and they're not really hiding anything.
Right.
So if you go back and watch the video that was filmed on Tuesday, it has a really good segment about me signing a new contract, and then it shows the harsh realities of motocross. And if you watch it, you can see at that point there's a lot of emotion going on from me, but at that point I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to ride. So
yeah, the mental part of it, we don't even have time to touch on that today. That could be a whole segment.
Yeah.
I mean, the roller coaster you probably went through this week, plus you had to travel, the time difference, the doctor, you spent more time at the doctor than the track this week.
The amount of stress I went through, like,
new contract,
yeah,
new team.
Yeah, I hadn't ridden in almost, I think it was a little over a week before Anaheim 1. I rode on Tuesday, obviously. When I say 4 laps, it was literally
that doesn't really count.
4 laps. It doesn't count. And so, yeah, that I actually felt like I could have done better in the main event, even though I tied my best finish. I felt like I could have done better, but I was just, at that point, I was pretty tired. And
let's not brush over that. That's your best finish with good. I mean, you've had a similar finish, but it was in the mud, so that doesn't quite count because all bets are off when there's mud.
Mm-hmm.
This is Anaheim 1. Everyone's there. Everyone's ready to go. You get your best finish, tie your best finish, career best finish after dealing with all this all week. New team, new bike, new situation. Tired, everything. You got through it, and best finish of your career.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
it takes a lot to do that. And so you finished the race. So what were your emotions at that point? So now we're at the top, right?
Yeah. After my heat race, I was pretty pumped. I got over the heat race real quick. I got 3rd in the heat race last year in Anaheim 1, so 4th wasn't quite as good, but it was more of the fact that I went out there and put myself in the front after everything I had been dealing with. Like, that was what made it feel so good for me. And then, after the heat race, like, I was just stoked to be able to finish the night. Like, me and the team had talked about it a little bit, like, and me and Daniel talked about it more than I did with the whole team, but like, it was kind of just go out there and put this one in the past and finish it.
Right.
And then we'll go from there.
Your expectations are low going into that meet.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, like, just with the injury, it was just get through it and we'll fix it and go from there and heal up. Like, from Tuesday to Saturday, it's not a lot of time to heal up.
Absolutely.
And obviously, me, you, and Nick did everything in our power to get me out there and 100% or whatever my
best percent we could get.
Yeah, whatever my 100% was at the time. So, the feeling coming off the track was like a sigh of relief, and it was just a reward for everything that the whole team did and us as a small team, to get me out there.
Good. Well, again, congratulations on that. It does take a team effort. I mean, there's a bunch of people that I was chatting with as well. Dr. Hamer and his partner, Dr. Nick, obviously helping out as well. But that's the goal. This is how it's supposed to work. When I talked to Mike and Brandon, we set it up. We do this with our privateer support program team as well. When they have injuries, we can try to coordinate care pretty much anywhere in the U.S. And we have similar access points where we can get you guys in on short notice. And the sooner we get the diagnosis and the sooner we get you treated, the quicker you're going to heal. And then we can see what the injury is and titrate that care to give you the best options. We'll talk about care to get you back out on the track if it's safe to get you back out there. And then more long-term, how do we maintain this through the rest of the season? Because you still have an injury. We took care of the immediate effects to allow you to race. but we're still dealing with an injury. So you and I chatted on Sunday. So I called you on Sunday. You're still pumped off that finish. And we came up with a plan to sort of get this treated this week leading up to round 2 in San Diego. So the plan is for you to come out to Wyoming. You made it out here, so we're going to be working on you today. We haven't started yet. So we'll be covering that in the 3rd episode of our podcast, but the second part of this mini series of Club at the Clinic, we're going to talk about what we're doing for you today. So we won't get into that in detail quite yet. We'll leave some anticipation of the treatment, and then we'll get your opinion of how smooth and straightforward this is to get you treated. But the goal is now to really give that healing process a boost. So today, when we're working on you, we want these things to heal up. Again, these aren't pain meds or anti-inflammatories. We're not just putting Band-Aids on this. We're looking at healing these tissues. We're using cell therapy, regenerative medicine to accelerate the healing in these joints. And we'll get into specifics after we get you treated today. So, for having you out here, it's great to get you out here on short notice. Again, we talked on Sunday. You're out here on Tuesday. We're going to get you treated today, and then we'll get you back out for the race this weekend. So with that, we're going to wrap up this episode, Hunter, and then we're going to get you back to work with more doctor stuff. You're probably sick of it at this point, but it's great chatting with you today. It's great to hear about those injuries and your perseverance. So the rest of the plan today is we're going to be taking care of Hunter. We're going to get some imaging studies. We're going to evaluate that knee, see where we're at with everything. We're going to plan some regenerative medicine therapies to help start healing these injuries. And then we'll be back in our next episode of Club at the Clinic to update you on that process and then the plan moving forward with Hunter. So, Hunter, thank you for being on this episode today. I'm Dr. Joe McGinley with the McGinley Difference. I appreciate you tuning in.